one of the things that I really like to do as a lead guitar player is I feel an obligation to make my melodic playing a little more vocal and a little more expressive. Number one, I think it just helps with the portrayal of artistic emotion, I guess. Get a little esoteric on you. And the other thing that it does too is it just adds a bit of a depth to it, where it's one of those things that people don't know exactly what you're doing when they're listening to it, but they don't know what they're hearing, but they hear it. They know it's there. I've seen students, they play something and they play it correctly, but because it lacks expression, they're going, how come it doesn't sound? Why doesn't it sound right? What am I missing? I'm like, well, you're missing those little details, the grace notes, the quick slides, the little bends, little things like that act more like a human voice would, because a guitar has frets. We have kind of these automatic pitches at our disposal. A fretless instrument, doesn't have something like that. Like a violin doesn't have frets. Fretless guitars, of course, don't have frets. But I'm not going to play one of those. I'm too scared. The human voice doesn't have frets either. So you don't hear singers. I don't know. I'm going to pick a melody and pick like something super kind of, I don't know, maybe not so rock and roll. Something like Jesus Loves Me. Maybe. Okay, now if a person sings that, that's not what the voice sounds like. Unless you're using auto-tune. And so I try to make my playing kind of reflect or kind of act like a human voice. Of course, there are going to be things in there that the human voice doesn't do, because these are different muscles here. So taking something like that, I might go, instead of I might go little slides like that. So you have this, let's see. You can start sliding up to the first note, and it's not like oops. It's not one of those. It's a real quick one. And see, what I did was a slide up, and then a slide up to the next note, and then a slide down to that same note. So you have this. It's just kind of interesting, and I know it's one of those things that maybe a person's voice doesn't do, but I mean, you can do it on guitar, so why not? And of course I had a little vibrato, and all of a sudden it can make any melody sound a little more interesting. Now you can do this with a whammy bar. If you got one of these little guys here, you can have this little again, another thing a human voice doesn't do, but it makes the guitar sound like it has its own voice. This right here, an extension of the guitar player's ego.